I'm going to be reading from a just published book. It's available out here. It's called Who Killed Andrei Warhol? And it's a fictionalized account. It's a story, it's a novel, about a Soviet-Ukrainian journalist by the name of Sasha Ivanov, who comes to New York City in February of 1968 at the height of the garbage strike in New York. And his assignment is to write about the impending American Revolution. As you know, 1967 and 1968 were fairly turbulent years in the United States. There were riots, there were student riots, there were riots by African Americans, there was a lot of turmoil in the country, and his assignment, as I said, is to write about this. He lives in the Chelsea Hotel, and he has an office at the Communist Party headquarters. You probably don't know this, but the Communist Party USA, at that point in time, happened to have an office, that is to say its headquarters, was located on the 8th floor of 33 Union Square West, which is down on near 14th Street. That same building, the 6th floor, was occupied by Andy Warhol's factory, his studio. Until that very moment, until February, the studio happened to be located on East 47th Street. And that moment in February, he moves it down to the very same building. So we have this interesting, true coincidence of the communist and Andy Warhol occupying the same building on Union Square in New York City. Sasha meets Andy and is immediately persuaded, for reasons that I won't explain for the time being, that Warhol, who, by the way, hails in terms of his ethnicity from the Carpathian Mountains, some claim that he's Ruthenian, others claim that he's Ukrainian. He himself probably didn't know what he was, but Sasha believes he's a Ukrainian. Not only that, he's persuaded that Andrei Warhol is a socialist realist. After all, his studio is called The Factory, and it's located on Union Square. The few pages that I'll read from you concern Sasha's visit to Andrei Warhol's home, which happened to be located on 88th Street and Lexington Avenue. Warhol lived with his mother, who was a very nice East European woman who will treat him to vodka and pierogies, or vareniki as they're called in Ukrainian. So the next few pages concern Sasha's encounter with Mrs., or Pani, the Ukrainian, Mrs. Warhol, as well as, of course, Andy. So they've just taken a cab, and they've just gotten out of the cab and they've arrived home. "Mama," Andrei shouts, "Mama, I'm home." A small gray-haired woman, as Ukrainian in her features as one can possibly imagine, appears at the bottom of a staircase below the ground floor. By the way, she lived in the basement. "Andeku," she says quietly, "I was sleeping." How touching, I think, that she should call him by the diminutive. Andrei rushes down the stairs and, suddenly speaking a dialect of Ukrainian, asks her if she is well. "Good, good," she nods. "I felt weak before, and I knew that only seeing my Andek would make me feel well." Andrei takes her in his arms and plants a soft kiss on her gray head. "Okay, okay, Mama," he says. "Okay, okay." He then leads her up the stairs and introduces me to her. "You speak our language?" she asks. "Of course I speak your language," I reply. "Oh my God," she cries, her hands raised to her open mouth. "You're one of us." "Yes, I am, Pani Warhola. The same blood runs in our veins." "Oh, Andeku," she says, "finally a friend who is one of our own." I take her wrinkled hand and kiss it delicately. "Oh, Sashenka," she smiles with girlish bashfulness. "Andeku, see? You should be a gentleman too." "Mama," he says impatiently, "enough, please." "Stop rolling your eyes, Andeku," she says, and draws closer to Andrei. Come inside, boys, come inside. I baked a walnut cake, Andrik's favorite. Andrei looks at me and smiles. I can see that he loves his mother. What Ukrainian boy would not? We enter the kitchen, where else, and sit down. Andrei washes his hands in the sink and then hands me the soap and towel. I do the same. How strange it is, I think, to be in a proletarian household somewhere in Manhattan. The table is cluttered with familiar things: a salt shaker, a pepper shaker, a small pot of honey, a little jar of sugar cubes, a plate full of candy, a piece of chocolate, a butter knife, a folded newspaper, a few letters with Czechoslovak stamps and some strings. While Andrei and I sit down, her mother opens the refrigerator and removes first an enormous cake and then a bottle of vodka. Pour yourself some while I make the tea. And pour me some too, she adds slyly. She lights the stove and returns to us. My sweet boys, she sighs, and we raise our glasses and drink the vodka. Andrei and his mother down there is immediately, and I smile inwardly. Ukrainians will always be Ukrainians, wherever fate may cast them. Andrei's mother places the kettle on the table and gives the two of us a tea bag. She sits down and crosses herself. As she does, I see that Andrei casts a glance at me. How long have you lived in America, I ask. Oh my God, how long has it been, Andriku? Your father came here before the war, and then he brought me here after the war. The Second War, I ask, and immediately realize that my question is incorrect. No, she smiles gently. The first. The soldiers kept coming and going. They took everything. America was a paradise. We had a house, and the boys could go to school. And there was no war in Pittsburgh. Then she adds, almost as an afterthought, war is a terrible, terrible thing, my dear Sasha. Kiev was destroyed in the war, I say. We played in the rubble, but I remember how my mother cried whenever she looked at the ruins. We fall silent for a few seconds, and then Pani Warho says, let's have some cake. She proceeds to cut two enormous pieces for Andrei and me. My Andrik loves cake. He always has, haven't you, Andriku? Andrei is too busy eating to reply, but he does look at me and roll his eyes again. Tell me about Pittsburgh, Pani Warho. Oh, it was such a smelly city. No kidding, Mama. But so many of our people lived there. It was good, Sashenka. There were neighbors. We knew them all. We would visit each other all the time. And we would always sing. My God, how we sang. All the time, she nods her head dreamily. All the time. Here in New York, no one sings except, she looks severely at Andrei, Andrik's crazy friends. Leave my friends out of this, Mom. Okay, Andiko, okay. Then she smiles and looks at me again. Andik's father has such a voice. Oh, how he used to sing, especially on Christmas, when all the Americans would be working and we would gather in our house, or at my sister's, the whole family would gather, and we would eat and sing and eat and sing. Those were such good times. Mama forgets the bad times, Andrei says to me. That is understandable, I say. I too have forgotten the hunger we felt after the war. I'm glad I left Pittsburgh, Andrei says. When was that? After college in 1949. Oh, Sasha, Andrei's mother gushes. My Andrik was such a talented artist. He won prizes. New York was a new world for me, Andrei says. It was just fab.